Hi, Lou, K4H&H, Hiking and Hammond here, and I was asked about, hey, is it possible to activate, or how do we activate Monte Sano Mountain at Monte Sano State Park as a Summits on the Air summit while we're in town for the Huntsville Hamfest? So I put together a quick video since I am allegedly the assistant SOTA coordinator for Alabama. Fortunately, they're not making any new mountains, so I don't have nearly as hard of a job as, say, the Parks on the Air coordinators do. Anyway, after about 45 minutes of updating all kinds of software and then realizing that I've forgotten how to get OBS running to do a little studio recording, you're getting this. And there were some other snafus. But anyway, here is how you can activate Monte Sano as a SOTA while you're in town for the Huntsville Hamfest. Grab your pack and your radio. It's time to go hiking and hamming. So if you want to activate Monte Sano Mountain as a summit on the air, which it is a 2-point summit as you can see there in the display from the recording I made using the SOTA Goat app, which is available on iPhone. There's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. So many of us are used to doing parks on the air where you have to be within the boundary of the park. And in summits on the air, you have to be within 25 meters vertically of the actual summit according to the SOTA rules. So what that means is the area will vary depending on how flat it is on the top of the mountain. And in the case of Monte Sano, it's pretty flat up there. So we've got this driving around all over the park where we can see where in the park falls into that activation zone. As you can see right now, it says near activation zone, but as we get a little bit higher up, we will move into that activation zone. And much of the top of Monte Sano falls within the activation zone. So what happens is you go to activate summits on the air at Monte Sano, but really just use SOTA Goat. That's the best thing I can recommend to make sure you are actually in the activation area. So it's all GPS indicated there. So another couple of things about this, about SOTA and the rules. Unlike POTA, for SOTA, you have to remain disconnected from your vehicle. In other words, no antennas on your vehicle, no power on your vehicle, no radio on your vehicle. So you have to physically take your power supply, that battery or whatever. Oh, and you can't use a generator, just for future reference. I'm sure everybody will be doing battery. No commercial mains, none of that stuff. It has to be independent power, not connected to any vehicle. You have to carry, now this is your gray area you get to play with, you have to carry your equipment, your antenna, all that stuff to the final activation point. Now, they don't say how far that has to be, whether that's 100 feet or 1 foot, as long as you physically carry your equipment to the final activation point and put up your antennas and all that, and you're not connected to a vehicle, then you are good to go. So the other thing is, unlike POTA, well, I'll put it this way. Yes, you can activate this as a SOTA every day, but it will only count for one of those days per calendar year. So if you wanted to activate Monte Sano, for instance, as a SOTA 2 consecutive days, you would have to do it on December 31st and January 1st, because then you're in 2 separate calendar years. That is the stipulation. That has to be in separate calendar years for it to count. So the best thing to do is just activate that 2-pointer that is Monte Sano every year when you come up for Huntsville Hamfest. Anyway, here's some music that I had AI generate for you. Enjoy as you look through the rest of our trip through Monte Sano State Park and what is a SOTA activatable area.
Boots on the trail, the morning's still young, and pack on my back, radio slung. The valley whispers, the mountains hum, hiking and hamming the wild calls from. Signals low, but the spirit's high, calling CQ 'neath the open sky. Plains stretch wide, the summits stand tall. I'm chasing the waves, answering the call. Parks on the air, summits to share, a voice in the wind. I know you're out there. With QRP, the journey's the prize. Hiking in heaven, where freedom the climb. Logs in my hand, pen in my grip. Each contact made is a little trip through static and crackle. The world comes near. Out in the wild, it's all so clear. The sun dips low, the shadows grow long, but the waves still carry my humble soul. Each peak.
Hi, Lou, K4H&H, Hiking and Hammond here. Shut up! Hi, Lou, K4H&H, Hiking and Hammond here, and as the